Hey, thanks for joining us for a new episode of Don't Compromise Podcast. This is part 2 of our last episode. But you were speaking about some high profile figures that you often needed to be in a room with. And you're like, they can smell fear on you. You look people in the eye.
I do. Don't get me wrong.
And you speak to them.
Right. Looking them in the eye because they are looking for you to look at your feet. They're waiting on you.
Girl.
They're waiting to smell
And
that
let
fear
me
on
tell
you.
you how many times I didn't count the toes that God has given me. Okay.
You just gotta bend your knees, take a deep breath, and jump. And you might think, what if I fall? Well, what if you don't? What if you fly?
When you really
God is
understand.
fine with me drinking versus the alternative. Trust me. He's fine.
Let me tell you, when you understand, let me just finish my statement and you could get, everybody has their opinion, like everybody has their journey, their path. Like I'm not knocking anything. So just let's be very clear. But I do know that once you have a certain level of a relationship with God, there's certain things that you won't do in God's presence as if like respect. Simple.
But isn't God always watching?
Yes, but I'm telling you, God is always watching.
Right.
But the presence of God is also something.
That's a great point. Not
Mhm.
I was thinking about, because people, and we're not trying to stray from the subject, but like, have you ever thought about, is it okay to play mass in carnival because of how you dress and blah 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 blah? I know that those conversations have come up in my family before, right? And so how you, and things in moderation, right?
Of course.
But how you act in mass
Mm-hmm.
out in carnival time is not how you act in mass
Right.
at church
Facts.
in the present. Yeah, so I think
That's the thing. So it's so funny. I read something. Remember, I was just about to say I was reading something, and it basically was saying that, like, when we worship, we do it as we were taught, and as it's stated in the Bible, we all come together and we worship God, or we praise the Lord in whatever way. And it's like everything that God has, I guess, set up for us, or asked us to do, where we do because we're worshiping God or we're showing God any kind of like love or respect or whatever. The enemy creates the opposite of it.
yeah.
So like how we go in a mass capacity to church, it's like you go out in the mass capacity to the club.
Yeah.
Like, it's when you look at, like, when people, I can't say it was not my revelation, but it really was like, oh, okay, that makes me feel bad about wanting to.
Do I have to repent?
Probably. But anyway.
Yeah, no. For me, I feel like things that I used to do in the dark, I realized I wasn't proud of. And God was trying to send me a message that those things were not good for me.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's like anything that I'm going to do whenever, all the time, in front of anybody. Because
Great.
I don't ever want to feel like, the moment I start to feel like need to do something in the dark or something, like hide things from people, I start to feel like God is telling me like, like,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Listen, the reality is,
For me.
exactly.
And that's something lately that,
right.
You know what I'm saying?
The thing is, your journey, your path is going to be your journey, your path. It's never going to be mine. It's never going to be her. Where she is, I ain't. Where you are, I'm not. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I ain't knocking anything
Your
that
point
you
of view
do.
will change too.
Yeah, as mine did.
Yeah.
Like, the more you grow that relationship, things just are different. And it's not something that it will never pain you to do what you want to do.
Right.
Ever.
Right.
I mean, temptation is temptation, but like,
So I should not give in to temptation?
what do you think? What does the Bible say?
I don't know. You gotta, what chapter
You
is it?
just said it.
Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil.
Right.
So what does that mean?
Are you being delivered from evil?
What do you mean?
Lead us not in temptation. Like, lead Do you want me to get a different version of it?
Like, I shouldn't be led in temptation. I should do it because I want to do it, not because I'm tempted to do it.
No, not at all. That's not what it's saying. What? Let me just read it.
Don't be mad at me.
I'm not. Why would I be
I'm
mad?
just trying to understand what the people
And
are
I
talking
want
about.
you to understand. I want you to understand.
Because I got temptations.
Yeah, we all do. That's the thing.
I'm screaming.
The enemy will
I
always
have-
tempt you.
Is it the enemy?
The enemy
The
will
enemy
always tempt you. God will never tempt you.
God will allow temptation,
Yes.
but He will always give you a way out.
Yep, always. And that's what Corinthians
How do I
says.
know if this is God-like behavior that I want to do or not?
Read
You're
your
going to
word.
know with
Something
discernment. You're not going to know
Read your word.
immediately.
Explain
Yeah.
discernment, like how I feel inside.
Yes, it's a knowing. It's a knowing. Should I read the definition of discernment?
No.
Okay. Because I want you to understand.
I think that I miss some of my bad behaviors and I don't know what to do about it.
I think
So
we
I
all
don't
do
know.
though. Like,
I don't know who to talk to about it. I'm just like, hey God, so can I do this?
Listen.
Like, how many more times can I do this before something bad is gonna happen? Is my
Exactly
question.
why I had to stop doing a lot of things.
Which I
Because, oh God.
right, which I have, but
But-
at the same time, it's like, can someone give me a sign? Oof, Lord Jesus. Speaking of God. So that's my whole thing. Is like, I don't know.
What?
Like, how many more times can I do this alleged bad thing before something bad is gonna happen to
Alleged?
me?
Why is it alleged if you know that it's bad?
Because who decides right from wrong?
God does.
Should you read the definition of discernment?
Yep.
Mhm.
Because I want to not give you my gangster definition.
Right. Should I go to talk to one of those priests on the
You
other
are Catholic
side?
and I am not.
You know what I'm talking about?
I am not Catholic.
Like, sir. Sir. I got questions.
I'm not.
So
I'm
who do you
not
talk
Christian.
to?
What?
Who do you talk to?
You could talk to a pastor, but I mean, I would just talk to God, but that's me. Okay, so in Christianity, discernment is the ability to obtain sharp perceptions or to judge well, or the activity of doing so.
Okay, moving on. I'm gonna think about
Any
it.
thoughts?
I'm gonna think about it and I'll circle back.
Are you sure?
Yeah. It's just a confusing concept.
It isn't. Once you grasp it.
That was
What?
sad, right?
No, you're fine. But I feel like discerning is a knowing. Like, you know, when people are like your intuition, when you have the Holy Spirit inside of you, you have the
Yeah.
full discernment and you know what's right and what's wrong. Just like how you feel like you have a knowing and people are like, what do they say?
That's a spiritual gift.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm an
I say I'm a
empath
witch.
and I know. And like I saw that person and I knew that they were bad vibes and da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
That's a form of discernment. Make
Right.
sense?
But I think that empath is like more new age.
It's definitely new age.
Yeah.
And like feeling like a witch, more new age.
Yeah.
I mean, just
Can we
the
talk about that
mention of
girl really
which.
quick?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Oh my
Hey,
gosh.
guys. Who
Do you know what I'm talking
No.
His excitement for gossip. No, it's not gossip, but
It's
We're
just
not
like,
gossiping.
who we talking
We're
about?
just sharing the
Um,
knowledge with the people.
we're talking about the astrologer who,
Oh.
or the astrology influencer, right?
Oh, she's white?
I forget her name, but
Don't know her name. She's black.
forgetting her name already, but she literally was just in the news for murdering her.
Murdering?
Yes, murdering her not her husband, her boyfriend,
Oh,
and
But it was her husband.
it might have been her husband. I don't remember. Her partner. We'll say her partner, but maybe it was her husband. And putting her 2 kids out on the highway. Her baby died, and then she killed herself.
Oh, well, that's that shit.
But the headline, to the point of that, the headline focused on the fact that she was this astrology
I love
influencer.
that it did that.
Which is, yes. But when I went to her, first of all, on Instagram,
You went to her?
girl,
Oh.
no, absolutely not. But wait, I don't. Well, we were just talking about this the other day. I was like, I don't participate. Is that Stish? How do you? Anyways,
Can we talk
I
about
don't-
stitches?
Oh,
yes, I don't acknowledge zodiac and all that. But I used to be I used to.
Me too. I would be
I would be like, what time are you
Libra
born?
But it's the
believer.
devil's work.
You're rising. You're
Listen.
moon.
But you think it's the devil's work?
I think
It's not
it's
of
not
God.
of God, and I just don't.
Just like the whole like other
What?
stuff.
It's a part of the other
You
stuff.
know, like meditating and sage and all these other things that people
Yeah.
think are like
and I always say to
spiritual
people, I'm
aren't
like,
always spiritual.
when you learn about whether it's astrology or burning sage or what's the other one? Palo Santo.
Palo Santo,
Right, yeah.
yes.
And whatever else, and you're burning them in these candles that
Yeah, I
bring you
gotta-
love and money and all that. Like, I think it's funny because whenever I mention that to people and I'm like, oh yeah, no, I don't do that. They're always like,
I
oh
thought you were
well,
spiritual.
I did the research and there's nothing like bad about it or whatever.
thing
Or they'll say, oh, I'll do my research.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But before you started burning these sages and the
you should have
Palo
did your
Santo,
research.
you should have
Right.
done your research.
Right.
And if you're Christian, you should see what the Bible says about it.
To be fair, because I
fair.
was not in my word when not that I had Palo Santo, I did burn sage in my
So did I.
apartment one time. Let me tell you the type of smoke that
Yo, that was
Oh,
funny.
no.
You
came
called
up in
me.
that place.
Do you remember when you called me after that
I don't
happened?
remember. I just know that I couldn't
I-
breathe. I
I
could not
remember.
breathe.
That should be crazy.
I was dying. I don't know what was going on, but I have a crazy earth story about someone gave me, oh my gosh, I didn't even tell this story. Actually, if my cousin listens to this, she gave me a crystal, but it is now in the dumpster
Not in the dumpster.
of wherever.
I
But
agree.
those
All
people
mine are
go
gone.
crazy.
What?
Those like people that call the spirits and they invite people in and they're gonna tell you about. What
Oh
the spirit
yeah,
said.
no.
It's like
I had a
they go
friend who told
crazy.
me, with someone else's crystal, so you have to recharge it in the moon. I was like, this is a
Listen.
lot. I'm gonna need to be recharged by the spirit of the Lord.
Seriously.
Like, this is
That's
too
the thing.
much.
And
I
that
can't
is
keep
another
up.
form of idolizing and
Yeah,
idolatry.
because you're relying on something else. Your
Exactly.
source is God.
And that is clear in the Bible
yeah.
that
And
you
why
should be
didn't I know that?
worshiping-
Yo, my aunt was like, you know better. And I was like, but do I though? Because I can't remember.
Literally.
I
Literally.
I forgot some things. I wasn't necessarily, honestly, it was like decor I didn't carry that crystal around. It was in my apartment.
Yeah, well, there was one I carried around. I ain't gonna lie.
But-
It was in the shape of a heart.
Yeah, you were into all that shit for a minute before you found God for real. You, Sasha.
I'm aware.
You were about that
I
crystal
just
light.
said that. I just said that when we were talking
So
about
do you
it.
think that most people find God in like when they're going through like a tragedy or something like
Some people do.
traumatic?
Some people do.
Is that all of our experience?
Not mine, no.
Okay.
No, I knew God before.
Yeah, same.
I knew God before. And every time that things worked out well for me, it was because I kept God first. And so when people
Mhm.
ask me, how do you know God exists? Or like, I guess like to explain what amazing thing I've went through. It's like, I just have my testimony of whenever I did
Mhm.
whenever I followed God, I never went wrong.
Right.
That's
I remember you said that to me actually.
all I
I
got.
think that
No,
I think that it was the day that you were burning the sage.
Listen.
And I think that it should be in my phone actually. And you were burning the sage, and then I think you told me, "Girl,
Listen.
it smoked." I was like, "Yeah, girl, I had to stop doing
The
that."
whole
Like,
thing smoked up.
and
I was
then
like, what is happening?
You said, "You know what? I'm just gonna keep following God because He never stood me
Yo,
wrong."
one of my friends was like, why are you burning sage? That brings bad spirits. That doesn't.
Yeah, it
I
does.
said, well, I see them.
Yes.
They are. It is nothing but haze in my head. My eyes are burning. Mind you, this thing was like this. It was like 4 inches long. Where's all this smoke coming from?
Right.
God was like, you're gonna learn today.
Yo, you did
Yeah.
learn though. That was your
I
lesson last night.
did.
That sage shit
Picked
is
it up and
crazy.
put it right back down.
I let a whole stick.
I was literally in my apartment praying like, God, please, whatever she did. she repent.
But the
She
funny,
forgot.
you know what the funny thing is though? I was not burning it because I was like, I need this thing to help get. Actually, in a sense, I kind of was.
No, remember
But
you
it was
told
kind of
me
like, I'm cleaning. I want to clean out the,
Right.
but
Yeah.
it was more like an uplifting kind of. It wasn't like, because if I really needed to pray some things out of my place, I would have prayed some things out of my place. It was
Mhm.
just, oh, that's what people use sage for.
Right. It's like a social. Like
It
a fun thing,
wasn't,
like smoking
yeah.
hookah.
It was like, yeah, it's going to bring the
Do
vibes.
you smoke
And
hookah?
I used to.
Okay,
And then I
cool.
learned that it isn't like,
It's worse than
worse than
cigarettes.
a cigarette.
Yeah, it is.
And I'm like, man,
Yeah.
let's not go down that road.
Yeah, I've never smoked, so
Never?
I can't even really.
You never had the hookah?
You never hit the hookah? Not even in
Never.
Atlanta?
Dang.
Not even in Atlanta.
No.
Wow. Good for you.
You inspire me.
Like,
Really?
Literally.
No, honestly.
Wow.
Because you are so like.
You're not easily.
You're
what's
not
that? What
easily
is? You're not
influenced.
easily influenced.
Never
Right,
was.
ever.
Ring the bell.
Never
Ring
was.
the bell.
I was like,
no,
oh,
for
I'm
real.
not doing that. You could do that. I don't really
That's
care.
cute.
But, and I'm like, oh.
Listen,
I love
in
that.
college we sat in a circle and my friends were smoking weed and they would just pass
Yo,
past
yeah,
me and I was still
yeah.
sitting in the circle.
You know
So
what?
Did you feel like you were getting high?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Like a secondhand high?
No,
I
I,
never
didn't.
felt
I was
that
actually
either.
hoping for that.
Okay, cool.
And it didn't happen. But I think that did happen to me one day in my adulthood. There was this really strong Nipsey Hussle weed that my friends were smoking. They
I
were
had that.
producers.
Oh, you took me to get that
Oh,
weed.
okay.
You did though. I need to repent.
Thank God. You remember.
Because you know what? I still have some in my house. No, it's bagged up in a bag for my brother's friend. Because I was like, I went cold. Matter of fact, guys, 4/19 of this month is my anniversary of going cold turkey.
Wow.
Thank you. Because I did become addicted. I used to say like,
I had a weed
we
coming
can't,
yesterday.
we's not addicted.
I remember when you called me
Addictive?
one day,
What?
you were like, I'm trying to find a Bible verse that says
That says I
that.
can't smoke this. I needed to know that God.
No.
He said something about the herb, though. He did.
said that
is
he
that
did
in
give us
Genesis?
the herb.
He
I
did
don't
give
know
us the
where it
herb.
is, but I know he
It's
did
in
say
Genesis.
I don't know.
I was just reading it this week, so I was like, "Wait, God, are you telling me something?"
I think he said he gave us the herbs to to eat and to help us as medicine or something like that. This
He
girl.
said, "I
I
give
don't
you."
think-
He
I don't
said
think
he
he said to
gave you
smoke
the
it, though.
animals. He said all of these
To eat.
animals I give you for food.
Yes, and I was like, somebody show this to PETA.
Yeah.
I saw that.
I know
recently.
that because then I came back around and I said to everybody that I told back in January that had stopped, I'm eating me again. but the herb was in a different sentence. So I was like,
What'd you do?
I was gonna pick her up.
You picked her up like she was a baby?
Girl.
Oh, poor thing. She's coming to me.
Oh, please.
like, look what he did. You see what he did to me?
Yes. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Bougie
Continue.
Oh, fancy.
What do you do? I'm sorry.
I ain't do nothing.
She's
to
so
her.
sweet. I'm taking her home.
I fancy.
But can she have babies?
Mm-mm.
No.
Damn.
She's too old. I got her when I was in college.
Really?
Mhm,
Damn, that was a long
2010.
time ago.
2010.
We love you, fancy. But wait, it was definitely in a different sense. The herb was in a different sentence,
So you don't
Sasha.
smoke weed?
We need to revisit it.
We should.
We should.
We need to revisit it. But no, I don't smoke weed.
That's good.
I don't do edibles.
That's great.
Remember when I told you about that edible had me looking goofy?
Let me tell you about that edible that I had in it was like Venice Beach. My friend brought back this cookie from San Francisco.
Mm.
Wow.
The edibles are no joke.
Wow. Yeah, I learned the hard way.
Oh, so did I.
I learned the hard way.
That first
Talk
night we
about it.
met.
I drove back to my BUL. Let me not say I was in school at the time, but I drove back to my apartment, and I don't even remember how I got there. And I was the one driving the car.
Oh,
Can we talk about that?
Samantha.
Yeah, it was crazy, but
did need
don't
Jesus.
do drugs, kids. Don't do drugs.
Oh, that's, yeah,
What I
that's
will
a
say though, I
confusing
really became dependent on weed. I really became dependent on.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I really became dependent on smoking because I struggled with sleeping
Mm.
and I needed to decompress from the stressful work that I had to engage with day in and day out. It became, though, like a ritual, full on like ritual. Hold on. All right. Well, Sasha has just confirmed for us that that was not the herb. In fact, he was not talking about the herb that we smoke. But I am clean. I am sober. Is it also called sober when you stop
I
smoking?
think so.
I am 420 free. I am 420 free, and I feel good about it.
You should.
Yeah.
I love it for you.
Thank you, my friends.
Of course.
I am a little disappointed in that though, because I was
Really?
like, dang, there are some days where I'm like, dang, I really can't. Like I have a case of insomnia or something. But you know what they say about, have you heard about that? The people that wake up at like 3:00 in the morning or 4:00 in the morning, or the people, for me, I can't sleep until 4 a.m. passes. It'll be like 5:00 in the morning. And you're like, why are you up? Girl, I can't sleep. And I don't know what it is.
You better start taking something. Have you tried magnesium?
Yes, I take
Like liquid?
No.
You should try a liquid.
Okay.
That's what people have told me.
The other night, my mom has soursop leaves from Grenada, and I boiled some. Did it help me go to sleep? I can't even remember, actually. It didn't help me go to sleep right away, but I did have some sleep. Soursop leaves? Like the tea? Boil it into a tea.
But
Did y'all see that B. Simone and her friend stopped talking?
B.
The one that used to have
yes, we were
with their podcast with? Did you guys talk about that?
we did talk about that.
We did.
What happened? What's
We
the
don't
tea?
know.
Oh.
Yeah. I didn't keep up with the podcast.
It used to be a godly podcast, right?
It didn't start off that way.
To jump back in though,
Yeah.
do you guys want to share any obstacles you had to face?
I feel like my obstacles were other people. They weren't necessarily obstacles. They were other people and other
That's
people's
true.
decisions and how
Yeah.
and how I navigated through working with people that would make those kind of decisions while also trying to maintain my own integrity and, you know what I mean, still do the right thing. I think that was an obstacle for me. But so I would say other people made obstacles for me and their decision making. Because when you're not the boss, when you're an employee, there is this level of you have to you can only go against the grain so much. You know what I mean? So I think my biggest obstacle was always trying to figure out, well, how can I save it all? I can save it all. You know what I mean? But unless you're there to save it all, sometimes you're just there to observe and learn for yourself. You're not necessarily put there to save the whole world. So everyone can't be saved. So that I feel like that's an obstacle I'm still dealing with.
Not being
For
able to
me,
save
I
everybody.
always thought I'm put in situations to save the situation, to warn everybody, to make sure it doesn't go bad. But now I'm
Yeah.
realizing I'm put in those situations to just observe and to learn from. So that's been an obstacle that I'm currently dealing with, I think.
Have all of your positions been like day-to-day management in that realm? Okay. I think because for me, my roles have been different in from job to job. But we talked about this earlier where I was like, God will take you around the same mountain, put you through the same test until you pass the test. And there were so many times, I think with each job that I've had, where the test didn't look the same. So you don't even, you're not recognizing oh girl, you're being put through the same test, right? It isn't until you in retrospect think about what was the lesson from this that you learn oh, so you just haven't learned your lesson. And so you're facing these obstacles really off the strength of you need to I guess now I'm trying to put it into, I'm trying to summarize what I learned from it because I'm probably going to be put through it again in my next.
I couldn't agree with you more, honestly. I feel like even stuff that I dealt with in my family, I felt like I would deal with at work.
Yes.
Because I feel I feel like the battle is the same.
It is.
The struggle is the same. The fight against yourself, for me, I could say, is the same.
Yeah.
My reaction is the same.
Yeah.
So that was my biggest obstacle, I feel was myself.
Yeah.
Battling against how I react two things. And like you said, I feel like God will continue to give you the same obstacle
Yeah.
until you get it right.
You pointed out, you said something too, with it being like not just your job and it being your family. And we spoke about, it was Megan Ashley who said, it was that whole clip about, you know, the devil's not in your head, but he watches your patterns. You know, God knew you before he formed you, but the devil's been watching you before, you know, you came to be. And I think that we're tested in not just our jobs, but across all of these relationships. Because I mean, yes, God is putting us through tests, but also we talk about this, but we have demons that are testing us too.
That are even generational.
Talk
like you feel
about
like
it.
Your mom or your dad or your great
Talk
auntie or
about it.
whoever is fighting a demon that is very reactive.
You're fighting someone else's demons.
Period.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
And like, well, you win.
Yeah. Yeah. But we know that the devil and these demons, these spirits, they come to steal, kill
and destroy.
So it's always an attack against something, whether it is like the foundation of your family, the honor you put over your parents, or the promise God has over your life, whether in work, your marriage, your relationship, whatever. But yeah, I think that's serious. Like,
I agree.
Yeah, if you're not recognizing why you're being triggered, you know what I mean? Like you do, like you said, the obstacle was you. It's because you're not recognizing like this is, you need to sit down and pray about how you're handling it.
Correct.
To get rid of those strongholds.
I agree. And like I was just saying to the lady, what I was saying to a former friend recently.
Former friend copy.
I was just saying like it's really, I mean, not all the time, but like you know that you're moving in the right direction when you're able to discern whether or not it's the enemy in your head or if it's you, because the enemy sees and knows the things to tell you. Like, oh no, that's not wrong. No, God said the herbs are in the Bible that he put here for you. Yeah, like of course it's okay. The enemy knows your language.
Yeah.
The enemy knows how to like really get into your head. So if you let the enemy tell you, oh no, what you saw was them reacting this way. It's the demons that you're fighting against that's telling you, no, they said it this way to make you mad.
Yes.
You can't let them get away with this. Like they said this to hurt you, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like once you understand that, it really helps. But I mean, I'm not saying that.
I'm still fighting.
You know,
I'm still fighting these demons. Like
big time.
Yeah.
Big time. But when we understand the generational demons that, oh, I got the same attitude that my grandma had.
That's the spirit of what?
Exactly.
Right,
you know? But like you said, the enemy is here to steal, kill, and destroy. And once you realize that, like, is this something that would, is it something that would put me down that path that the enemy has for me? That be helping.
Yeah.
There's no balance, you don't think, to be on the enemy's path a little bit?
That's a tricky question. I'm not the one to answer that.
You should answer.
God. But I do think that the enemy does put like stumbling blocks in the path that God has for us. I do think that. But I won't say that there isn't a clear path either way, because like I can't really speak on that. But I feel like when you know you're on the path that God has for you, it's clear. But I do know that God knew us before we were in our mother's womb, and God knew what our insecurities would be, what our doubts would be in ourselves. So like even with this podcast, like I was sitting in disobedience for a really long time. And I even told you like a year ago, I'm like, I feel like nothing's going to really do what it's supposed to do in my life until this is done.
Yeah.
And it just is just so out of my comfort zone. It's so vulnerable. It's something that I would never want to do. And like, I also don't want people to feel like the people that I care about to feel like I would be talking about their business or, you know, anything making them feel exposed either.
Yeah, because it's not about them.
It's not.
It's about the experience.
Right. And it's about what God wanted me to do.
Yeah.
But there's no real, I don't know, there's no real, I feel like there's no real wrong path that God didn't kind of know that we would be battling, if that answers the question. But that's my opinion. Like, that's what I think. So, I don't know. Does that answer your question, kind of? Maybe.
Yeah, kind of.
Maybe not. But anyway, back to what we were talking about.
What were we talking about?
I guess
you did say something that I thought was interesting just now about like when oh my gosh, I'm misquoting you, but you know when an opportunity or is from God when you know what I'm talking about just now. Okay. Has there ever been for either of you like opportunities that you feel like, oh, this is what I want, but I'm confused. Is this the door is opening, but is this from God? Or is this or is the enemy sending a distraction?
That happened to me recently.
Ooh, talk about it.
I won't get into too much detail. I won't say who the person is, but recently I was minding my business and someone reached out to me and was like, hey, this person needs a day-to-day person.
Okay.
And I was like, God, this would be very funny if this is you. I don't know if it's you, but I'm going to move and do my part. Yeah. And if it's of God, it'll happen. Because I ain't never worked with no rapper. And I don't know if that's my speed. Yeah. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, but when I started working with another person, that was the first night of that job, actually. I was on my knees praying, and they know about this, but I was literally on my knees praying, and out of nowhere, like this was like the first real spiritual moment I had with God by myself. And like I was on my knees praying, and at this point I had just moved into my new apartment, and I was literally sleeping on the floor, and I was praying, and I was on my knees actually. And I was just praying like regular good night prayer, like very basic. And this person just kept coming up in my face as I was praying, right? Like I saw this person's face as my eyes are closed, like in my face. But they looked sad. And like a bag of emotions fell upon me and I was bawling. I just started crying. And I was like, God, I don't understand what this is. I don't understand what this is. Like, what's going on? Is this person unhappy? Are they unhappy? Then I started, are they unhappy in this situation that they're in? Like, that kind of, you know? And I was bawling and I was crying and I was crying and I was crying. And I was like, okay, I understood God wanted me there for this person for a reason. Like that was very clear to me. Nothing has ever been that clear to me when it came to a job ever in my life. And there was another point where I was like in my car. This was probably like 2-3 years in. Maybe not even that long. What am I saying? But it was like a little while in, and I was tired and I was exhausted, and the battle was not mine, but it was a heavy one. And I was like, I'm done. I'm tired. Like, God, I'm ready to just move on. Like, bring a situation to me so that I can leave. And I heard, not yet.
Quiet or loud?
It was very clear that it was God. And then I was like, okay, God, you talking to me an awful lot for this role.
Yeah.
Can you tell me some other things? Like,
right.
what, like,
spread the love, guys. Like, what the hell? You know?
I am screaming.
But no, like, I'm sorry. I don't even know how we went down that rabbit hole. But yes, I have been brought to a situation where I was just like, okay, I'm not really sure if this is of God, but I'm gonna move and see. And like, and if this is you, God, then, you know, I'm here and I'm ready to see what this is. But yeah, It was a no.
It was a no.
It was a no. But yeah, I feel like that's me. But anywho, so do any of you have any advice that you would give to someone aspiring to get into the industry? I feel like we kind of went through this already, Jonathan.
Let's see him go because I don't know. I'm conflicted. I'm ready to go manage the local Walgreens, so I don't know.
Screaming. Advice that I would give someone trying to get into the industry. First of all,
know what you are coming to do. Like have a mission. Know what you're coming to do. These people.
So sorry.
People want to be in the industry so bad that they will misguide anybody to get ahead. So thinking that you're gonna get into the right situation with the right group of people, and then y'all are gonna figure it out. Come and know what you want to do, so you have a goal to accomplish. That's my advice, and I feel like that's similar advice from last time. So you may have to, but I had to say it again. God told me to tell y'all. So
no, absolutely. I think that's great. I think you should say it again, and I think you also said it in a different way. But
no, I agree. I think that when I started, I started to say, I think all of us would say some of this, like a kind of overview of what Jonathan just said, and you have to know your purpose beyond, I just want to work in entertainment.
Right.
But I will say that if we're being honest, did we all know our end goal? Did we all know? Because it's changed a couple times.
It's changed.
So I don't think it's necessarily fair to say to someone that like is figuring it out, or like they know that they want to do something, but maybe they don't know what the different opportunities are in music. What the different I didn't know there was a job title called A&R, and this is what they do. Like, I think depending on age, find mentors, find and I'm sorry, I'm getting like sniffles. I'm getting sneezes. Right. I feel like coming on, but
if you don't know, find someone who knows, so you're not going into it.
Yeah, explore.
Or at least have a plan.
Do some research. It's easy for you to say like, do some introspection. Look into the things that. What are you driven by? What do you feel fulfilled by doing? And look into what. It's very easy. Like. The computer, Google, all of that, like you have to understand how to ask it questions, just like a ChatGPT, right? But it can help you discover roles, what that looks like, what are the different opportunities, because everybody might go into film and TV and they want to be the director or the producer and don't even know what that entails.
Baby.
They just know that title is the one, that one. That title is the one that people are recognized for. So are you in it for the recognition or are you in it because there's something
are you in it because you want to go to the club and hang out
or
with your
that
boss?
too. I think that specifically is like, okay, so if we're saying and that we can be a little bit more specific about, right? Because when you talk about the different industries, music, fashion, entertainment, whatever, yes, figuring out a role is one thing. But if we're speaking specifically about working for a high profile figure or celebrity, whatever, you really need to know why you want to work for a person that is in this field. Whether you want to work for an actor, whether you want to work for a CEO, whether you want to work for a singer, why do you want to work for them? Not because you love, oh my God, I love their music I grew up on their music. Don't ever, yeah, they say don't ever meet your heroes, right?
Don't do it.
Yo. But no, God. For real, that can't be your reason. Your reason can't be like, or I just love them. Like, I almost gave
let me put that out there. I love my old employer,
of course,
right?
And their music,
right?
And their movies.
Listen, we all do.
And
be clear. We all do. We all
I do. Like, very clear. Very, very, very clear.
And I was very inspired by the person that I worked for as well.
Mhm.
It wasn't my reason for.
Listen, I fell into that job. Like, it wasn't on my
It
vision
fell in
board.
my lap. That came to me. I'm not even gonna.
It wasn't on my vision board.
Oh shoot! It wasn't on my bingo card for whatever year that was. Let me be for real. But I will say that came out of networking. So that's also some advice, right?
You don't understand. Like, I literally I have it written down here
You gotta
under
network.
advice.
Yeah.
Sam has no problem networking. Like,
Who, me?
This girl,
Me?
you have no problem networking.
Oh, I love that.
I don't think so.
You don't. You don't have a problem to network at all. Like, I think that's great.
I think I'm a little shy.
I think you're better than me. Like, I'm very much. I should say something to them, but I'm not. Not gonna do it. Yes.
No, I think it's the. Let me tell you why that's not true.
Mhm.
Let me tell you why that's not
Tell me
true.
why.
Because there was something that you said to me. Because I used to struggle in those spaces.
Oh, I know exactly what you're about to say.
Oh.
That's a different space, though.
All right.
But go ahead.
All
Go
right.
ahead. No, go ahead. Bring it out.
Because I used to shrink myself in rooms off the strength of
Yes.
you read the energy of the people that you work with, and it's like you want to make sure that. Oh,
I turned it on, but she told me
Okay.
it wasn't really working.
no, it was flickering before, but now it's really flickering. So what's going on,
we
right?
rebuke the enemy in the name of Jesus. and keep
In
it
the
moving.
name of Jesus.
Wait, that's the devil?
You know what?
If it is, we rebuked it.
Oh,
So
Yes.
we're good.
So
Yeah.
it's God.
Just to be on
Then
the
it'll
safe
come on, it'll be
side,
fine.
he will remain.
I will always rebuke before anything,
Right.
and then I will say, God, if it's of you, then let it be.
But
All right, keep it moving.
even now, I think oh my goodness. Well,
Well, I said, God, if it's you, let it be. And he did say, let there be light. And there was light.
Oh,
that is a wild.
that's
I'm gonna
really
turn it off,
crazy.
No, for real.
All right, let's go.
The spirit of the Lord is here, guys. But
Get in line.
but for real, it was, and I don't remember how we started that
I don't know,
conversation.
but that's the one moment
But
that I wish that we had
would
a video rolling.
yes,
What moment?
where we needed that. There needed to be.
Yeah, for sure.
We needed to record this whole thing, honestly, just
Yeah,
as a
no,
test
we
run.
did.
But
Well, y'all didn't want to.
I was cool with it. Oh, you said
I got my little body. I was cool with it.
I'm screaming.
Anyways, continue.
But we were talking about, honestly, I choke up in spaces. Like, I don't want to be awkward, or I have no problem. Like, I don't know what it is, right?
Mhm.
I don't know how we got there, but you were speaking about some high profile figures
Mhm.
that you often needed to be in a room with. And you're like, they can smell fear on you.
Mhm.
You look people in the eye,
Mhm. I do. Don't get me wrong.
and you speak to them.
Right. Looking them in the eye because they are looking for you to look at your feet. They're waiting on you.
Girl.
They're waiting to smell
And
that
let
fear
me
on
tell you how many times I didn't count the toes that God has given me. Okay. But no, seriously. And it's crazy because
crying.
in a sense, it's like, are you idolizing these people? Because they're human,
Mhm.
right? And not necessarily, not like, but it's like, it's a respect thing in a sense. Like, at least I program myself to think out of respect, like, who am I to talk to this person?
Samantha
Baby,
Jones.
exactly.
You crazy. That part,
Exactly.
okay, that's not what I
And I
mean.
was like, you know
Right,
what?
yeah.
I
That's
know,
right, yeah, it's a little different.
I know what you mean by that. I know,
Yeah, 'cause I
but
feel like I
that,
stare bitches
but
down
what
in the face,
what
I
I'm
hate
saying,
networking.
but Sash, what I'm saying is your
Uh-huh.
ability to, had I had the ability to do that, I would have networked a lot more.
Mm.
I would have put myself in position for a lot more because
Me too, though.
Yeah, but I was inspired, friend.
And
I was
you
like-
would have probably got less by doing that because it doesn't always, though
Oh,
someone
right.
can't smell the fear on you, that doesn't, they want to smell the fear on you.
Right.
And the moment they
There-
can't,
Depends
there's-
on the room.
yeah, it
You
does
got to.
depend
You
on
have
the
to know.
room,
That's
but-
what I was gonna say. You have to know how to read the room.
Yep. You got to
Yeah.
know how to read the room. Because there's also times where, like, you might be in a room with someone that don't want you to step it on up.
Oh yeah.
I've been in those rooms too, but at the end of the day,
Yeah.
like, they would always be like, she a firecracker.
Yeah.
or she know what she doing,
Yeah.
or she not. Yes, but there are things that you do that I don't do so well. Like that is not networking. That is owning the room.
Okay, yes.
If I
so
need
what
to.
do you mean, like?
I feel like you have no issue with like being connected to people or connecting people or like, you know what I mean? And that
Okay.
is
What you
off
said the
of
other day about bringing Sasha,
Yes.
the girl Sasha was
Yes.
mean to.
right. Like
Yes.
that's your
This
judge.
is true.
And I feel like I don't think you have a problem with networking. I feel like if it's a networking event, you would thrive in it. I
Right.
wouldn't. I'd go home.
Yeah, same.
I'm not
I-
introducing myself.
I didn't. I
I'm
didn't.
not asking nobody
I
for
just went. I
nothing.
just went to one actually with a designer that I am very inspired by,
Mhm.
Oh, cute.
and
Do you want to work in fashion?
She would.
I
You
do
been
have a
thinking about it?
passion. Yes, I do have a passion.
That's what God just told me to ask you.
Passion for fashion.
God told you to ask me
You
to.
can get one of those.
I'm just putting,
Okay.
What'd you say?
Nothing. Continue.
What'd you
But-
say?
No, she really didn't say anything. Did
Oh.
she?
Yeah, I was just waiting on you
Oh.
to answer.
Oh, yes.
But yeah, in that, I think I spoke to what I kind of, if you make me feel comfortable enough, I can talk to you.
Mm.
It's just a thing, and I don't know if it's that like I fear when I feel spirits that don't necessarily I
Mhm.
don't really
Mhm.
I ain't gonna talk to that one.
Yeah,
Or
I think
if it's fear.
yeah. For me, I think it's a spirit of rejection. I don't like to be rejected.
Yeah.
I don't care who it is. I hate no. Like, don't tell me no. Like, tell me no. It breaks my like. Can't deal. But I'm working on that. Like, you can be rejected and live life and keep it moving. Like, you know.
Yeah.
But the spirit of rejection for me is rough.
Yeah.
Really? I don't get that from you.
No, it's funny because no, I get what you're saying. It's in the same way that you're saying like you're really good at networking, but when this is your experience.
Mhm. I feel like when it comes to a response, and I think it just has to do with like a lot of my upbringing and my real life trauma.
Yeah.
I think that I just don't like to be rejected, and that will get me it will stop me or hinder me
Yeah.
from having conversations.
Do
or
you believe that the spirits knew the calling on your life well before? Like the trauma that you experienced from a kid that's influencing the way that you respond to
Mhm.
rejection in today.
Mhm.
All of those seeds were planted because they knew the promise on
Absolutely, and I do think that it's something generational.
true.
I think it's a generational issue. I do believe that it's something that I'm working against. It's something that I want to battle. There's something that I want to conquer.
Yeah.
It's not something that I want to be like, oh, like, you know how some people are like, oh, I'm like that, and it's okay, and I'm fine with that.
Oh yeah, no.
I'm not that
yeah.
person. I do want to improve. I
Yeah.
want.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yeah, I do. Like, even like in conversations with like my friends or people
Yeah.
close to me, like I'm always like, okay, well, if I did that, my bad. Like, I want to know. Don't not tell me or then tell me like months later or whatever.
We talked about that.
Yeah, we did. No, I'm just saying, like, but in real life, like I've had these
Yeah.
conversations in real life. Like,
Mm-hmm.
don't, like, if I did something or I said something, because like you already know, everyone says that I look mean or my tone and my this and my that, and sometimes it's really not that, or maybe it's something I'm dealing with in real life, and you know it's coming off as you or whatever. But anyway, yeah, I just feel like I do want to get past that and move on.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of other things there. It's not just that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, whatever. But anywho, I think the one question we were talking about earlier, or maybe yesterday, I don't remember, was what's the best advice that you've received?
Oh, but you go first.
No, I don't have one. I don't
Best
get advice.
Oh shoot.
What do you mean you
I
don't
feel
get
like
advice?
I'm the advice giver. I feel like I don't.
Really?
I feel like I don't. Get
No one's
advice.
ever
You've
given you
never-
advice.
You've
I
never
mean-
picked someone's brain. We've all picked somebody's brain.
I feel like I picked someone's brain, but
I feel like one time Blake Lively was like in the elevator, of like the building I was working in.
Mm-hmm.
It was like my first job in New York, so I didn't have like any real experience. And I printed my resume and I waited for her to get on the elevator and I jumped on the elevator with her. And I like gave her this whole elevator pitch and I gave her my resume and she was like, you know, like, I'm not going to call you, but it's a lot of... She's like,
I'm not gonna call you.
Wait. Right. She's like, I'm not going to call you, but she's like, it took a lot of courage for you to do that. Like, you have to stay strong in this business. People like will walk all over you. Like, you have to like be firm and stay strong and continue to put yourself out there. And I was just like, okay. That was some like random like advice from like a big celebrity at the time that she was like,
I don't think I have any celebrity advice though. So
Well,
that's
yeah, then,
kudos
but it
you.
was
No,
just a
you
fun
got
story.
you got advice. No, I'm saying you got advice from a celebrity. That's
Yeah.
great.
That's a
Yeah.
And to answer no questions without my lawyer present. Those are
Too soon.
Yeah.
That's
that's the advice. I'm holding on to.
screaming. That actually made me think of when you say celebrity, because the first thing that I thought about was like career stuff. But this wasn't so. When I was an assistant, I won't say that it was advice that was like. Actually, she would ask me too. Like when we were talking about things that she was taking on. Her main thing was what's the bigger play, right? Like so, I think that helped my like business mindset.
Mm-hmm.
When you're like that, I found value in that. But
That's great though. I think
That
you told
is-
me that before.
yeah,
What
Great
is the
advice.
bigger play?
I like
Right.
what is the bigger
What
play?
is the
'Cause
bigger play?
sometimes you could get caught up in like they want me to do, but what's the bigger play? Why are you doing it?
Right.
Why are we doing this?
How does
Right.
it lead into the next thing?
Yeah.
Yes. What's
And
the
that-
bigger picture here?
Wait,
Yeah,
how is it
she was
part of
definitely
the overall plan?
Yes.
yeah.
Not just trying to get something done real quick.
You know, or
Right.
get a check,
Right.
or get
Right.
every check that
'Cause
comes your way.
Oh, right. Well,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. We don't get hungry about it. Like it's very strategic.
What is the bigger play? Period.
period?
Period.
But ironically, oh my God, I'm screaming. You know, I was gonna say the best advice though that I ever got was no less from her security guard.
Love.
Cute.
Her
Security guards be knowing.
They be
They
knowing.
do though.
They
They know
always got some
everything.
knowledge to drop. You get cool with the security guard, man,
Yo.
you know everything.
Honestly, truly, they are. But he basically told her security guard basically told me, never get complacent.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know what? Anybody can listen to that and be like, yeah, I'm not complacent. I'm not
Yeah,
comfortable.
because that's some of the best advice I've gotten too.
Right.
Yeah.
It's to never be
But
comfortable.
depending on who it's coming from, like that's coming from someone who's watching you, who's watching her, who knows the dynamic of what's going on.
Yeah.
Like he was telling you that for a reason. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Interesting.
But I think that there's also, because in context, comfortable and complacent can mean the same thing, but
Mhm.
sometimes comfortable and complacent ain't the same thing.
That's a
Right.
fact.
because we were talking about someone who was a little too comfortable.
Right.
Okay.
And that's not what it more or less meant. Like,
Oh, I get what you're saying.
don't lose your grit for what
Mhm.
you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget why you're doing what you're
Mhm.
doing. Don't forget the mission. Why are you here? Like
Right.
what you're talking about. Come with the
Mhm.
plan.
Mm-hmm.
Because we could get very caught up in like, you know what?
And you
it's not getting
grow a
very
personal
far, but-
relationship.
Yeah, and you get
You
stuck
get
in the
stuck.
rigmarole. Right? Because it's good. It
Yeah.
works.
You love
Don't
this
fix what's not broke.
person. You want to see the best for them. So
Yeah.
then you never leave. Again, don't get comfortable.
Don't
For
get
me,
comfortable.
it's don't get comfortable. Y'all will laugh when I tell you who gave me this advice. It was one of two people, but I feel like they both said it.
I
But
wonder if it's the same advice.
no, it's pretty much that. It was like not to get comfortable. And
But complacent, do we mean like being content?
no,
with
right,
it?
right. So
Right.
no. So no,
not
that's what I was saying.
comfortable.
You're complacent. Am I comfortable? Are two
Okay.
different things.
Okay, yeah.
Way two different things. And I feel like they were like, one of the things they did say to me, and I would think about it every time I did it, by the way.
Oh, snap.
She was like, they were like, I don't want to come over here and see, or I don't want to go over there and see you like all laid up on the couch with your feet up.
I'm screaming.
Girl, you will be laid up with your feet up.
I mean, I slept on
I've
the
been
couch
here all day. I slept in the house
Listen,
too.
like I legit overnight, like slept up there. Anyway, so that would make me laugh. But in retrospect, that advice was really good. Even with the whole couch thing, like I still thought about it.
Yeah.
And then I would be like,
while your
all
feet
right.
were up, you would think about it. Like, I shouldn't be doing this, huh?
Yeah.
But also, babe, this is a second home.
it's a
Dogs are
different situation.
barking some of these
I
times.
also feel like you had a unique experience there.
Yes, I
Yeah.
completely, but even still, maybe it was like an order from my boss to put my feet up. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Mhm. Nah, not an order.
Not an order,
I'm screaming.
obviously. You know what I mean?
No, I
like,
get what you mean.
put your feet up. No, but I'm joking. It definitely
But
wasn't an
you know-
order or a request or
But
an
the
ask.
same person did give me some good advice too.
No, seriously. But the whole getting comfortable thing was legit because it would ring in my head sometimes where you work with people, whether it's in a corporate position
Yeah.
or a like more personal position, you do get comfortable with the relationship that you've built with these quote unquote bosses because you're there all the time. You see them more than you see your friends. You see them more than you see your
Right.
family. You see them more than you see your house. Because when you go home, all you do is go to sleep. So you do get comfortable with conversations that you have with them.
Well, it's also the relationship that you and that person have together when you're alone versus the relationship that they try to, like, versus the relationship that they have with you when other people are around.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So
Correct.
it's a little
That's
bit.
true.
That's very true.
It's definitely a complicated situation to navigate sometimes.
navigating
Yeah, it
that
is. That's why I always say this is not for the faint of heart.
No.
You have to know that at the end of the day, if it's a like more corporate setting or personal setting, whatever it is, you kiki with these people, you eat with them, like y'all have happy hour. Oh my gosh, like, yeah, we're gonna get, not me personally, but like, you know, you go, I've seen people go and get drunk with their bosses
Oh,
and
yeah.
you could put yourself in a situation where you will no longer have a job because of something you said when you were tipsy or
Right.
drunk or whatever. So it's not getting comfortable in any job, any role that you have, not just in entertainment, but it's like you get, because like even when you're working on set with the directors, the producers, the network, whatever, I've seen people come to a rap party and act insane and lose their job.
Right.
Yeah.
We had a rap party for a project that we were working on, and one of the, I think it's set designers or someone, I don't even remember, so it doesn't really matter if I say it right or wrong because it's more than likely wrong. But it was a set designer, I'm gonna say, and he got drunk
Not drunk.
and was trying to and we were staying on location, so he tried to force some girl into his room and lost his
Oh
job.
my God, that's
Like,
dark.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just saying
tough.
it's in what I'm saying is it goes for any role in this industry.
Recognize
or
when
in
you're
a-
working.
Right, but being comfortable can really get you messed up.
Being comfortable will have you forget that you're working.
Yes,
Like
that
will
part.
have you forget that, oh, you're on a job still. Though.
Exactly.
You're still on the clock. But I
Exactly.
didn't want to forget that it was, oh my God, I almost lost it again. But whenever I was ready to check out of a place, because they say that obviously you mentally check out before you actually check out.
Mhm. That's a fackety fact.
Yes. Someone
Fact.
I forget who it was that told me, but I know that wasn't a part of the question. But the piece of advice that I received was you don't leave a place until you got everything that
you're
you came
supposed
for.
to. Mhm.
And that you're supposed to, yes.
Mhm.
But that you came for, whether it's to learn,
Mhm.
whether it was things that you were trying to accomplish, I'm sorry, like you need to, a part of getting complacent or comfortable in a job is you lose sight of what you're there for.
Mhm.
And then you're upset about you're not getting paid enough. You're not being I was going to say compensated, same thing. You're not being compensated enough. You're not being valued. The value is not there in regard to the work that you're putting out. and then you're ready to go, but did you accomplish what you came to do here?
Right.
Or are you focused on the wrong things? And
Right.
that's a trick of the devil.
Or did the enemy make you
That's the
leave
trick of
in
the
a-
devil.
Listen.
Yeah, the enemy.
The
made you
enemy
leave.
will make you leave a job faster than you were supposed to. That
Yeah.
I can't really say that happened to me though.
Yeah.
I can definitely say that I regret ways that I've left jobs.
Yeah.
Plural.
she does.
What he said?
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, she does.
We won't get into it.
Yeah, we won't.
We will after this. No.
But no, seriously, like it's a trip. But anyway, I think we should wrap up. Thank you guys for coming and for being my friends. And I was gonna say, Jonathan is gonna take this
No, I'm not.
to
Don't even hold me.
Anyway, but I was thinking last night when I was like preparing, and I was like, Jonathan, you live up to Jonathan in the Bible. Like, I feel like your mom didn't mess up when she named you Jonathan.
Wait, what? Who's Jonathan in the Bible?
You.
Well, what's he talking about?
He is a very loyal friend. And thank you for being my loyal friend.
Aw, so sweet.
Anyway, but no, for real, like, don't do that.
I'm gonna have to look up this Jonathan in the Bible.
You should. You should. You really should. But anyway, for real, honestly. But anyways, thank you guys for joining. I really appreciate you guys for coming.
Aw, thank you
Yes,
for having
thank
us. Thank you, God.
All right. Well, thank you.
No, this was great. Thank you, Sash.
No, thank you guys.
Thanks.